Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. What if I told you that everything you're going through right now, the struggles, the setbacks, the doubts, is not the end of your story, but the beginning of something greater? What if I told you that the very challenges weighing you down today are the exact signs that your life is about to change in ways you never imagined? Most people don't realize it, but transformation doesn't come when life is easy. It comes when you're tested, when everything seems uncertain, and when you feel like you're on the verge of giving up. Think about the greatest success stories you've ever heard. They all have one thing in common: before the breakthrough, there was a breaking point. Before the victory, there was a struggle. Before the glow up, there was darkness. That's how life works. It doesn't hand you success on a silver platter. It first asks, how bad do you want it? It tests your resilience, your faith, and your determination. And if you're feeling lost right now, if you're questioning your path, this is the moment that matters most. You see, change doesn't happen randomly. It happens when the old version of you can no longer contain the greatness you were meant to step into. It happens when life forces you to grow, to evolve, to step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. And that unknown, that's where the magic happens. That's where everything you've been working for starts aligning in ways you never expected. But here's the thing, most people miss it. Most people see the struggle and think, maybe I'm not meant for this. They see the obstacles and think, maybe I should just settle. But not you. The fact that you're here listening to this means something. It means that deep down you know there's more for you. It means you're searching for a sign, for a reason to keep going. And let me tell you something, you didn't find this message by accident. You were meant to hear this because your life is about to change. Think about a seed buried in the dirt. It's in total darkness. No light, no sign of growth, but beneath the surface something is happening. The roots are forming. The foundation is being built. And then one day, after what seems like an eternity of nothingness, that seed pushes through the soil and reaches for the sun. That's where you are right now. You're in the soil. You're growing, even if you can't see it yet. You're evolving, even if it feels like you're stuck. But here's what separates those who make it from those who don't: persistence. Most people give up before they break through. They stop pushing just before the miracle happens. But if you can hold on, if you can trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to, you will see the shift. You will wake up one day and realize that everything you went through was preparing you for something greater. So let me ask you this, are you ready? Are you ready to stop doubting yourself? Are you ready to embrace the signs that life is giving you? Because if you are, then stay with me. I'm about to show you the 6 undeniable signs that your life is on the verge of a powerful transformation. If you recognize them, if you embrace them, you will never look at your struggles the same way again. Let's begin. Have you ever felt like you're wandering through life without direction? Like you're lost in a fog with no clear path forward? That feeling of uncertainty, of questioning everything, where you're going, what you're doing, and whether anything even makes sense anymore, is something everyone experiences at some point. And while it might seem like a sign that you're failing or that you've made a mistake, it's actually the opposite. Feeling lost is often the first sign that your life is about to change for the better. You see, when everything feels stable, when you're comfortable and life is predictable, there's no real reason to change. You go through the motions following the same patterns, and before you know it, years have passed without growth. But when you start feeling lost, when the things that once made sense suddenly don't anymore, that's a signal. It means something inside you is shifting. It means you're no longer satisfied with where you are. And whether you realize it or not, your mind and soul are preparing for something new. Think about it. Why do people feel lost? It's not because they're failures. It's not because they've done something wrong. It's because they've outgrown their current situation. The job that once felt fulfilling now feels draining. The relationships that once felt comfortable now feel stagnant. The goals that once excited you now seem meaningless. That feeling of being lost isn't a dead end, it's a sign that you're ready for something greater. But here's the problem, most people panic when they feel lost. They think it means they're making a mistake. They try to force themselves back into old patterns, even when those patterns no longer serve them. But growth isn't about going back, it's about moving forward. And sometimes the only way to move forward is to go through a season of uncertainty, where you don't have all the answers, but you trust that the answers will come. Think about a caterpillar inside a cocoon. It starts as one thing, but as it changes, everything breaks down. It becomes unrecognizable before it transforms into something new. If you looked at the process halfway through, you'd think it was a mess. You'd think it was lost. But in reality, it's just becoming. And that's exactly what's happening to you right now. Feeling lost is not failure. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the time when the old version of you is dissolving so the new version can emerge. And while it might feel uncomfortable, even painful, it's a necessary part of transformation. The key is not to fight it. The key is to embrace it. Instead of trying to force yourself back into your old ways, lean into the discomfort. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? What am I outgrowing? What new possibilities am I being guided toward? Because when you stop seeing uncertainty as a problem and start seeing it as a sign, everything changes. Look back at your life. The moments when you grew the most, when you became the strongest, were never the moments when everything was easy. They were the moments when you felt lost, when you had no choice but to dig deep and find a new path. And that's exactly where you are right now. So if you're feeling lost, if nothing makes sense anymore, take a deep breath. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are evolving. And soon the clarity you've been searching for will come. The doors you've been waiting for will open. And you'll look back on this moment and realize it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Struggles have a way of making you question everything. When life feels like an uphill battle, when nothing seems to go your way, it's easy to wonder if you're on the wrong path. You might start thinking, why is this happening to me? Why does everything feel so difficult? But what if I told you that these struggles are not a punishment? What if I told you that they are actually a sign that something incredible is coming? Every great success story is built on a foundation of struggle. The most powerful people, the ones who have achieved greatness, didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they refused to give up when things got tough. Because they understood that struggle is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you're leveling up. Think about the last time you faced a real challenge. Maybe you lost a job, had a falling out with someone close to you, or felt like no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't make progress. In those moments, it's easy to feel like life is against you. But what if life is actually working for you? What if these struggles are testing you, preparing you, and shaping you into the person you need to become? Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. Every single day they push their body beyond its limits. The pain, the exhaustion, the discipline, it's all part of the process. If they stopped the moment it got hard, they would never reach their full potential. The struggle is what builds them. The same applies to your life. When things get hard, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're in training. You are being prepared for something greater, something you may not even see yet. Most people run from struggle. They see obstacles and immediately think, maybe this isn't for me. But the truth is, struggle is the price of growth. It's the fire that refines you. It's the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. If you're facing hardships right now, if you feel like nothing is going your way, congratulations. That means you're on the path to something bigger. Think about a rocket before it launches. The engines roar, the pressure builds, and for a moment, it looks like it's struggling against gravity, like it's being held back. But then all that pressure, all that force propels it forward at an unstoppable speed. That's you right now. The struggle you're feeling isn't holding you down, it's building up the energy that's going to launch you forward. But here's where most people get it wrong. They let the struggle defeat them instead of using it as fuel. They give up right before their breakthrough. They let temporary pain stop them from reaching their full potential. I don't let that be you. If you're going through tough times, if everything feels like it's falling apart, hold on. Keep pushing. Because the moment you think you can't take any more is usually the moment right before everything changes. Look back at your own life. How many times have you struggled with something only to realize later that it made you stronger? How many times have you faced rejection or failure only to realize later that it was actually a redirection towards something better? The struggle isn't there to break you, it's there to make you. So the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Because if you can shift your perspective, if you can see struggle as a sign that you're growing, then nothing can stop you. Your success, your breakthrough, your transformation is already on its way. But only if you refuse to quit. There comes a point in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. You try your best, you push forward, but no matter what you do, it seems like things just keep getting worse. The plans you had start crumbling. The relationships you depended on start fading. The dreams you were chasing suddenly feel impossible. It's like life is pulling everything out from under you, leaving you standing in the wreckage of what once was. And in that moment, it's easy to feel hopeless, to believe that maybe things will never get better. But what if I told you that this moment, this exact moment when everything feels like it's falling apart, is actually the most important moment of your life? Because here's the truth, when everything is falling apart, it's not the end. It's a new beginning. Life doesn't take things away from you to punish you, it takes them away to make room for something better. The people who walk away, the opportunities that disappear, the setbacks that leave you questioning everything, these aren't signs that you're failing. They're signs that you're being prepared for something greater. Think about a house that's being renovated. Before anything new can be built, the old structure has to be torn down. The walls have to come down. The foundation has to be cleared. And for a while, it just looks like a mess. But if you stop the process too soon, all you'll see is destruction. You won't see the masterpiece that's being created. That's exactly what happens in life. When things start falling apart, when you lose what you thought you needed, it's easy to panic. It's easy to think that life is against you. But in reality, life is removing what no longer serves you, clearing the way for the next chapter. Most people don't realize this. They try to hold on to what's fallen apart, afraid to let go because they don't trust that something better is coming. But the truth is, growth requires loss. It requires you to release what's no longer meant for you. And that's not easy. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. But it's necessary. Think about a butterfly. Before it can fly, it has to go through complete transformation. Inside the cocoon, it literally dissolves, breaking down everything it once was to become something new. If you looked inside the cocoon in the middle of the process, you'd think the butterfly was gone. You'd think it was destroyed. But in reality, it's just becoming. And that's exactly what's happening to you. You are in the middle of your transformation. You might not see it yet, but everything that's fallen apart is actually falling into place. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the plan that didn't work out, these things weren't meant to stay. They were stepping stones, lessons, chapters that served their purpose. And now, life is clearing the way for something better. But here's the catch: you have to trust the process. You have to let go of what's already gone. You have to stop trying to rebuild what's meant to be left behind. Because if you keep looking back, if you keep trying to hold on to what's breaking apart, you'll never be able to step into the future that's waiting for you. So if everything feels like it's falling apart right now, take a deep breath. This is not the end. This is the turning point. You are being prepared for a new chapter, a new opportunity, a new version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and ready for what's coming next. Your breakthrough is on the other side of this storm. Don't give up now. Keep going, because your story is far from over. There comes a moment in life when you feel disconnected from your dreams, from your purpose, from the people around you. You wake up and go through the motions, but something feels off. The things that once excited you no longer bring joy. The goals you once chased with passion now feel distant, almost meaningless. And in that silence, in that emptiness, a question starts to form: is this all there is? If you've been feeling this way, understand one thing: this feeling is not random. It's not a sign that you're lost forever. It's not a sign that you failed. It's a sign that you are waking up. It's a sign that your soul is calling you to something greater. When you start feeling disconnected from your old life, it's because a new chapter is waiting for you. You are being pulled in a different direction, one that aligns with who you are becoming. But here's where most people go wrong: they ignore the feeling. They try to numb it. They convince themselves that they should just be grateful for what they have, that change is scary, that it's safer to stay where they are. And so they keep repeating the same patterns even when they no longer fit. They force themselves to stay in situations that no longer serve them because stepping into the unknown feels too risky. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. You weren't meant to stay the same forever. You weren't meant to settle for a life that feels empty just because it's familiar. That feeling of disconnection, that restlessness, it's your wake-up call. It's life telling you that you are meant for more. Think about when a snake sheds its skin. As it grows, the old skin becomes too tight, too restrictive. And if it refuses to shed it, it can't survive. The same happens to you. The life that once fit you perfectly may now feel like a cage. The job that once felt right now drains you. The relationships that once felt supportive now hold you back. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you are outgrowing your old life. But here's the truth: outgrowing something doesn't mean you have to fear it. It doesn't mean you've made a mistake. It means you are evolving. It means you are stepping into the next version of yourself. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you embrace it, the faster your life will change for the better. Most people fight this transition. They resist it. They try to force themselves to fit back into a life they've already outgrown. But resistance only creates suffering. When you hold on to something that no longer serves you, you're not protecting yourself, you're delaying your own transformation. So let me ask you this: what in your life no longer feels right? What are you holding on to that deep down, you know it's time to release? What are you afraid of letting go, even though it's already slipping away? Because the moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop holding on out of fear, everything will change. The job you thought you needed, let it go if it's draining you. The relationship that's no longer growing with you. Don't hold on just because you're afraid of being alone. The old dreams that no longer excite you, it's okay to replace them with new ones. You are not here to live a life that feels small, disconnected, and unfulfilling. You are here to evolve, to change, to step into something greater. And that feeling you've been having, that deep, quiet knowing that something needs to shift, isn't something to ignore. It's something to follow. Because when you do, when you finally embrace the change that's calling you, you will realize that your life was never falling apart. It was just falling into place. There comes a time in life when you realize you can't keep waiting. You can't keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect set of circumstances. Too many people spend their lives waiting to feel ready, waiting for a sign, waiting for someone to tell them it's time. But here's the truth, there is no perfect moment. The right time is the moment you decide to act, the moment you stop making excuses, the moment you choose to step forward, even when you're unsure. Because let me tell you something, if you keep waiting, life will pass you by. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before you know it, years have slipped through your fingers. And what do you have to show for it? A long list of someday dreams that never came true. The painful reality is that most people never go after what they truly want, not because they aren't capable, but because they keep putting it off. Think about this, how many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? I'll do it when I have more time, or I just need to be more prepared. And then days go by, months go by, and nothing changes. Why? Because fear keeps you stuck. Fear convinces you that you're not ready, that you need more time, more knowledge, more money, more confidence. But fear is a liar. It will keep you trapped in the same place forever if you let it. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common: they started before they were ready. They took action before they had all the answers. They stepped into the unknown even when they were scared, because they understood that the only way to get ready is to start moving. The only way to build confidence is to take action. I think about a baby learning to walk. Do they wait until they're ready to take their first step? No, they stumble, they fall, they struggle, but they keep going. And with every step, they get stronger. That's how growth works. You don't wait until you're fearless to act. You act despite your fear. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What dream have you been postponing? What goal have you been making excuses about? Because your future is being shaped by the decisions you make today. Every day you wait, every day you hesitate, is another day lost. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't is not talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence, it's action. The people who win in life are the ones who take the leap. The ones who stop waiting for permission. The ones who decide that now is the time to go after what they want. And listen, it won't be perfect. You will make mistakes. You will have setbacks. But failure isn't the enemy, and action is. Because when you try and fail, you learn. You grow. You get stronger. But when you do nothing, nothing changes. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to start. One step, one action, one decision to stop waiting and start doing. And when you do that, when you stop making excuses and start moving forward, you'll realize that the life you want has been waiting for you all along. The only thing standing in your way was you. So what are you waiting for? This is your moment. Your time is now. Take the leap. Because if you don't start today, then when? There comes a moment in life when you realize that everything you've been searching for, every dream, every goal, every breakthrough has always been within your reach. But most people never grab it, not because they aren't capable, not because they aren't worthy, but because they don't believe they deserve it. They don't believe they have what it takes. And so they settle. They accept less than they're capable of. They allow fear to dictate their choices. But here's the truth. You are far more powerful than you realize. You have everything you need within you. The strength, the resilience, the ability to rise above every challenge that comes your way. But none of that matters if you don't believe it. Because belief is the foundation of everything. What you believe about yourself shapes the life you live. If you believe you are capable, you will take action. If you believe you are worthy, you will go after what you want. But if you believe you are not enough, if you tell yourself that success is for other people, that happiness is something you'll never truly have, then that will become your reality. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, but it can also be your greatest enemy. The way you talk to yourself, the thoughts you entertain, the stories you repeat in your head, they create the world you live in. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that life is against you, guess what? You will find proof of that everywhere. But the moment you change your mindset, the moment you start believing that you are strong, that you are capable, that you are destined for something greater, everything shifts. Think about the people who have achieved greatness. Do you think they never had doubts? Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. But the difference is they didn't let those doubts control them. They didn't let fear stop them. They made a choice to believe in themselves, even when the world didn't. Even when they had no evidence, no guarantees, no safety net, they took the leap anyway. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to stop waiting for proof. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're good enough. You have to believe it first. You have to see it in your mind before you can hold it in your hands. Everything begins with belief. But belief alone isn't enough. You have to back it up with action. You have to wake up every single day and prove to yourself that you are serious, that you are committed, that you refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Because belief without action is just a dream, but belief combined with action, that's unstoppable. That's the formula for success. So ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you are capable of achieving your goals? Do you believe you are worthy of happiness, of success, of abundance? Or have you let doubt and fear convince you otherwise? Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. The world reflects what you project. And if you want your life to change, you have to change the way you think. This is your moment right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, decide that you are worthy. Decide that you are enough. Decide that you will no longer allow fear to control you. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the story you tell yourself. Change the story, and you change your life. If you've made it this far, then you already know you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads you back to where you've always been. Back to the comfort of the familiar. Back to the same routines, the same doubts, the same fears that have held you back for so long. The other path, that's the path of growth. The path of change. The path that demands more from you, but promises everything you've ever wanted in return. The question is, which path will you choose? Most people choose the first path. Not because they want to stay the same, but because change is uncomfortable. Because stepping into the unknown feels risky. Because taking full responsibility for your life means letting go of every excuse, every limitation, every reason you've ever given yourself for why you can't. And that's terrifying. But let me ask you what's more terrifying. Staying exactly where you are, watching your dreams slip further and further away, or taking a chance on yourself, even if it means stumbling, even if it means failing, even if it means facing the fear head on. Because here's what most people don't understand. Failure is not the enemy. Staying the same is. Every great success story is built on failure. Every person who has achieved something remarkable has a past full of setbacks, rejections, and moments when they almost gave up. The difference between them and everyone else? They didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel. They learned from it, they adapted, and they kept moving forward. And that's exactly what you need to do. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need someone to come along and tell you that it's your time. It's already your time. The moment you decide to take action, the moment you choose to stop making excuses, the moment you fully commit to your future, that's the moment everything changes. But commitment isn't just about saying you'll do it. It's about proving it to yourself every single day. It's about waking up and pushing forward even when you don't feel like it. It's about choosing discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, and progress over excuses. It's about taking full control of your mind, your habits, your choices, because your life is nothing more than the sum of your decisions. So what will you decide today? Will you decide to go back to what's safe? Or will you finally step into your power? Will you finally say enough is enough and take control of your destiny? Because let me tell you something, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. Nobody's going to hand you the life you want on a silver platter. You have to earn it. And that means showing up. That means doing the hard things. That means refusing to quit when it gets tough. That means understanding that the only limits in your life are the ones you accept. Right now, you are at the edge of a breakthrough. You are at the moment where everything can change. The only thing standing between you and your future is a decision. So what will you choose? Will you choose to keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep making excuses? Or will you choose to step into the version of yourself that you were always meant to be? This is your moment. This is your time. Take it.